What's going on, everyone? Today we're exploring Colorado's Rocky Mountains. We'll be visiting all 4 of the state's national parks. When most people think of a classic national park road trip, they probably think of Utah's Mighty Five, but it's worth noting that Colorado has almost the same number of national parks, making Colorado's national parks road trip one for the books that everyone should add to their bucket list. This video will be a comprehensive travel guide with an exact 7-day itinerary you can follow or modify. Colorado is one of the most beautiful places in the world and has an endless amount of adventure to be had. If this is your first time to the channel, it'd mean the world to me if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. But without further ado, let's jump right in. This is how to road trip Colorado's epic 4 national parks. On day 1, the first thing is getting here. If you live in Denver, you'll be starting from your front door, and if you're traveling here, you'll first land in Denver International Airport. For this trip, it's not really possible without a car, so you'll need to get a rental, and if you follow this exact itinerary, I would plan on getting here on an early flight arrival, or if you do this trip in more than 7 days, you'll have some flexibility. Straight from the airport, you'll head to Estes Park. This is a 90-minute drive, and it is the main town hub for Rocky Mountain National Park. This is the first park we'll be visiting, and also likely the most famous one in Colorado. Let's say you land at 10 a.m., get the car, and you arrive to Estes Park at noon. Hotel check-in hasn't started yet, so you'll head straight into the national park. Depending on the time of year you visit, you might need to get a timed entry permit. This is to control the flow of traffic during busy summer months, but on this first day, you'll probably be tired from the travel day, so we'll keep it light. A few places to check out that don't involve hiking are Bear Lake, Sprague Lake, Trail Ridge Road, and a handful of roadside pull-offs. And a few short hikes under 3 to 4 miles include Alberta Falls, Mills Lake, Nymph Lake, Dream Lake, and Emerald Lake. This should put you around the late afternoon where you can enjoy sunset from inside the park or in Estes Park town. Otherwise, it's time for dinner and a relaxing night at the hotel. We've stayed at a few hotels in town. On a recent stay, we really enjoyed Nikki's Resort. And if you're a movie buff and like The Shining, check out the Stanley Hotel. The movie is based on the property, and it's a pretty cool hotel. Day 2 is going to be our main day to explore Rocky Mountain National Park. So today you can opt for a half day of hiking and then explore the town of Estes Park and its charming main street, or you can opt for a longer full day hike in the mountains. To start off the day, check out Coffee on the Rocks in the western part of Estes Park. This place has great coffee and it's right on the water with a beautiful patio area. If you're looking for a medium-sized hike, you can check out Lake Hayea, Black Lake, or Twin Sisters Peaks. And if you're wanting to do a longer hike, you should check out Sky Pond, Chasm Lake, or even Longs Peak 14er. The Longs Peak is a hike that involves some Class 3 scrambling and shouldn't be done without experience and preparation. There are so many hikes to enjoy here. If you want my exact hiking specs for all of these, check out my top 10 hikes video for Rocky Mountain National Park. But for today though, my biggest recommendation would be to do something in the Bear Lake and Glacier Gorge area of the park, or one in Allen's Park on the eastern side of the park. This is because we will be exploring the north and west side of the park tomorrow, and after your hiking outings, you can opt for another night of exploring Estes Park or enjoy a relaxing night at the hotel. On day 3, we are waking up and checking out of our hotel in Estes Park. I would recommend an early start for this day. We'll be making our way to Grand Lake, which is the town situated on the western base of Rocky Mountain National Park. In the winter, you would have to drive a long detour around the mountain range, but in the summer, we will be driving over the scenic Trail Ridge Road. This road is a beautiful 48-mile drive that connects the towns of Estes Park and Grand Lake. The summit of the drive stands tall at 12,183 feet above sea level. If you want a relaxing day, you can just enjoy the serenity and peacefulness of the drive itself or check out the roadside stops, and you'll have to make sure to drink plenty of water to avoid altitude sickness. But if you're looking for another adventure, there's plenty of trailheads and hikes off of this road. A nice roadside lake to enjoy is Poudre Lake. There's actually a handful of hikes off of Trail Ridge Road that I still want to do. Some of these include the Upsilon Mountain Traverse and Mount Ida. Whatever adventure you end up having, I would aim to get to Grand Lake by 3 p.m. This way you can check into your hotel and still enjoy a few hours of sunlight in town. We stayed at Grand Lake Lodge and absolutely loved it. They have so many unique accommodations and there's beautiful views in every direction from the property. Other than enjoying the hotel in the cute town, you also need to check out Grand Lake, which you can either enjoy from the lakeside or you can get out on the water with a kayak or paddleboard, but this is going to wrap up a busy day 3. And before we start our long drive on day 4, for those new here, I want to let you know more about the type of videos you can find on the channel. By fate, Bree and I met 10 years ago in Amsterdam, and since then we've started 2 media production companies and have more or less traveled full-time in the 10 years that we have known each other. I've been to over 50 countries, and Bree and I together have been to over 30 countries. We mainly make top 10 travel guides, hiking vlogs, and really anything related to travel and the great outdoors. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, but let's get back to it. Day 4 is going to consist of one of the biggest drives of the trip, going from Grand Lake to Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, which is a 4-hour and 40-minute drive. You can either enjoy sunrise in Grand Lake or get right on the road and start the drive. Along this drive, there are thousands of beautiful destinations and hikes, and I have dozens of videos and top 10s on many of the towns and mountain areas you'll be driving through, but for this video, I want to stick to this 7-day parks itinerary. So for Black Canyon of the Gunnison, it makes the most sense to get your hotel in the town of Montrose. From town, it's a 15 to 20 minute drive into the park. And depending on when you arrive, you can first check into your hotel or go right into the park if you're early. The nice thing about this park is that while there are hikes and some activities to do on the water, most people can just enjoy this park with the roadside stops and overlooks. This is one of those parks that's pretty easy to visit in one day. Some great lookouts include Tomechee Point, Gunnison Point, Pulpit Rock Overlook, and Painted Wall View. The Painted Wall is extra special because it is the tallest cliff in Colorado and the 3rd tallest cliff in the lower 48 states. You can also take a scenic drive along the East Portal Road to drive to the river at the bottom of the canyon. And this is going to wrap up our exploring for the day. On day 5, we have another 3-hour and 45-minute drive, so you can either hit the road right away or you could do sunrise inside of Black Canyon of the Gunnison for one last outing in this park. Once you hit the road for Mesa Verde, you'll be making your way to the town of Cortez or Mancos. Either is fine, but I would maybe more so recommend Mancos because it is in the direction of tomorrow's drive. Mesa Verde is another park that can be explored in one day for most people, but if you are a history buff who loves exploring cliff dwellings, you could opt to be here for longer. And you can either explore the park on your own or get a guided tour to learn more in depth about the park and access some places that you need a guide to visit. On day 6, we'll be waking up after exploring Mesa Verde National Park the previous night, and similar to the previous day, you can start day 6 with another sunrise at Mesa Verde, or you can hit the road early, as today we will be driving 4 hours and 20 minutes to our last park of the trip, Great Sand Dunes National Park. Most people will stay in the town of Alamosa for this park, but there are also a ton of great camping options just outside of the park boundary. If you have extra time on your itinerary, you have to check out Pagosa Springs, as you'll drive right through town. There's a hotel called the Springs Resort where there's more than 25 hot spring soaking pools, and it's home to the deepest hot spring in the world. The hot springs are world class and the best in the state. But for the sand dunes, this is another relatively easy park to visit. Most people just go and enjoy the views and walk around for a few minutes to take in the beautiful sand dunes backdropped by the snow-capped Rocky Mountains. You can also rent a sandboard if you're looking for some adventure, or hike High Dune, the tallest sand dune in the park. This is the best way to explore the park, but if you really want to dive deep, you can visit the national park via West Cliff and explore some of the alpine lakes in the national park, like Lower Sand Creek Lake. Also close by to the dunes is a short hike to a waterfall called Zapata Falls. And this puts us at the last day of our itinerary, day 7. Similar to the recent parks, if you would like one more sunrise adventure, you can go back into the Great Sand Dunes one last time before wrapping up the trip, but then from the sand dunes to the airport, you will have one last 3.5-hour drive. And again, I want to stress, while this is an example 7-day itinerary, please feel free to modify this or extend your trip if you want to see more places that colorful Colorado has to offer. This video is just a baseline, but I hope it helps you plan the best trip ever. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or other recommendations, please feel free to leave a comment below, but I hope you all have a great year. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys later.